When you look at it as CEO being a point of view, you know, it's a title, it's all those other things as well, but it's a point of view. When you're the chief executive officer of whatever you're involved in, you've got a broad scope, you've got a sense of complete accountability, everything's on your own shoulders, you know that it's up to you to make it thrive, and that mindset has to drive everything. What, in your experience, now we're thinking about applying the CEO perspective to speaking, okay, and the choice of a speaking career, either full or part-time, not a real issue, full or part-time. But what are the caveats or the cautions that you would give to executives that are considering going into speaking and still having their enterprise as their mainstay?
I think you have to speak to your truth. I've met a number of speakers who speak on leadership, for example, and they've never really led anything. They've written books, they've read books, and I think there's a way to handle that. I think the way to handle it is to be truthful with your audience and say that I happen to have been a student of this. I've read all these great works. I've assimilated it, but I have not done it. So I'm going to share my synthesis of what I've shared with you. And I think a lot of people tend to dress themselves up in expertise as if it will have some impact on an audience. Yeah. So I think you have to find your truth. And I'm kind of stimulated by both of your comments. Yours about big wheels. I happen to have grown up in the foster care system, and I got a job as an office boy at a newspaper when I was 16 years of age. And what I learned was that job mattered. And so that some years later, I'm the CEO of this whole thing with 6,000 colleagues. I knew that everyone's job matters. And when you're a first-time speaker or you're an executive thinking about being a speaker, etc., every experience you have matters. Every learning opportunity matters. And it's not about being the big-time speaker. It's about whether or not you understood the value of the truth you brought to those who you were serving along the way. So I think that's a critical point, Jim, is to be truthful to your purpose and to not pretend to be something that you're not.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Howard?
You know, I grew up on a farm in Iowa, and I'm grateful for that experience because you learn accountability, responsibility, animals, tractors, machinery. But the big thing you learn is teamwork. And that probably, along with the ethics foundation and honesty, probably served me more than anything else I ever had in the business community. The same attributes still work today. And what you and we do is about people. And it's your experiences. Well, there's an old adage, maybe you created it, Jim, but, make a point, tell a story. Make a point, tell a story. That oversimplifies it. But people want to hear about your experiences. And what you said, Bob, about being real and being yourself, I think is absolutely critical. You gave a great presentation on branding this morning. And I learned years ago that my brand is I'm the former CEO of Southwest Airlines. That's all I need to be. Mm-hmm. And somebody said, what happens if the airline tanks? And then I'll say I was the former CEO of Southwest when it was profitable.
Exactly.
But that's the brand. And,
sure.
And whenever I speak, I think of Southwest in the back of my mind as to what it stands for, what it portrays at all. So that would be my advice. What do you stand for? What comes out of your background that you can really share and has a point of expertise?
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Aldonna?
Some of you are CEOs now, and I just want to talk to all of us as speakers. Why do you come to the platform? And who's with you? Like, who's behind you when you're talking? I think that's one of the most complicated branding questions we all have. And I got to tell you, for 36 years, I've been trying to figure out how many people are behind me with which speech. Because if you get invited as the CEO and you're talking and representing, say, the growth strategy company or the venture capital firm or the manufacturing plant, in the back of my head, I'm thinking about every single employee, the mission statement of the individual company, the marketing plan, all of that stuff. You just can't help but be aware of every single person that's behind that brand of that particular business. So if I own 6 companies, and I do, and all the different things, why were you at the platform? It colors what you say. And the audience deserves to know who brung you here, as they say, the kids say. Who brought you to the platform? Why are you there, and you represent whom? And one of the things I find happens with a lot of CEOs is when they go off to speak on their own as an individual, they don't know what to do with the company that brought them to the dance. Are they still representing the business? Is there still that obligation for that brand? Or is there this new brand that's them? Because there's so much more than Southwest Airlines. I mean, if you've met this gentleman for more than 5 minutes, you just know that there's just so much more. So when is he Howard? And when is he Southwest Airlines? And when is he the delicious way that he did Braniff? He didn't run away. He had the integrity. He stayed, and all the wonderful stories you tell about that are more wonderful than the Southwest Airlines stories to me. So when you show up, are you the next company you're buying? Are you the people that you worked with and for 20 years ago? Are you the brand of one? Who's with you on the stage when you talk? And everybody in your audience wants to know, on whose behalf do you have the right to say what you're saying, and why should I listen to you? And I don't think that's as easy when you've got 5 and 6 and 7 identities.
I think you're right.